What would you do if you were given $1 million that you had to spend in just this month? All those things that you would buy or do, would they really satisfy your soul? Next year at this time, do you think you would still be satisfied with all of your purchases, or would you just want more? Stay tuned as we talk about the hindrances of contentment, zeroing in on all those things that you want.
Hi, it's Jen
And Elisa
with Captivated by Him. We're so glad that you found this video, and we're so excited to encourage you in biblical contentment.
In this series, our definition of contentment is to be satisfied, to have enough, to have no need or want for more. This definition comes from the Greek word for content in Philippians 4 verse 11, where Paul says, "Not that I speak from want, for I have learned to be content in whatever circumstances I am."
In the last video, we started talking about hindrances to contentment and how when we create if-onlys for ourselves and place our hopes in things rather than our great God, then we are going to be disappointed and discontent. Discontentment is dissatisfaction caused by one's desires, expectations, or hopes. And if our desires, expectations, and hopes are wrong to begin with, it's only expected then that they not only fail, but also fail to bring us true satisfaction. So, what or who brings true satisfaction?
We talked in our previous videos that God is the only one in the universe that can bring true contentment. It says in Psalm 107 verse 9, "For he has satisfied the thirsty soul, and the hungry soul he has filled with what is good." This verse is saying that God is truly satisfying. He doesn't just fill our bellies or give us a bottle of water so we can have just temporary satisfaction, but we can have satisfaction in our soul. In our very being, we can want for nothing because we have been filled with all these blessings God gives to His children. If your hope, desire, or expectation is not God, then you will certainly stay hungry and longing and empty.
Yeah, even when your hopes, desires, and expectations succeed, you'll be left dissatisfied if those hopes, desires, and expectations weren't on the Lord. Discontentment isn't a product of your situation, but it's a product of the heart. And also, discontentment is a result of other heart issues. Discontentment exposes that something deeper in your heart is wrong. And one of the hindrances to contentment then is thinking, I want.
That's right. When you say, "I want this," or "I want that," it shows what or who you truly love. It shows you what you desire more immediately than God. Now, look, we don't want to get legalistic. It's not that it's sinful to just say the words, "I want." We don't want you to stop saying, "I want to take my lunch break now," or "I want to run to the bathroom before we leave." We do really not want to make that the legalistic standard or anything. But what we do want is for you to consider what your heart is truly desiring over God, because God is the one who will truly satisfy you. Also, what we want is for you to like this video if it's helpful for you, and to subscribe to our channel so you can learn more about what will truly satisfy your soul as we continue our series on contentment. You can also check out our series on true beauty as well.
So back to what you want, what you deeply desire. Maybe you want success, but what does that really reveal about your heart? Greed? Power and prestige? Maybe you want that social media influencer life. And if you want this life, is it because you desire to just outdo your social media friends and be the next big thing, an influencer, or get man's approval through all your likes and followers? I remember when I was going through the first year of college, I thought to myself, wow, I really want to be popular. Now that I'm away from home and I'm not imprisoned by my parents, I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna go on dates with whoever I want, whenever I want. I'm just gonna live that popular life because I want all the worldly pleasures that my peers tell me are fun. And it turned out to be very empty.
Thanks for sharing, Jen. How do we avoid being consumed by worldly desires like the ones that Jen was just talking about? Galatians 5:17 says this. For the flesh sets its desire against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. For these are in opposition to one another, so that you may not do the things that you please. We need to be filled with the Spirit to not be filled with the desires of the flesh. What are the results or the deeds of the flesh actually then? We have to know that, right? So it says in Galatians 5:19-21 in these next set of verses, now the deeds of the flesh are evident, which are immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, outbursts of anger, disputes, dissensions, factions, envying, drunkenness, carousing, and things like these, of which I forewarn you, just as I have forewarned you, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God.
Whew, that is a long list. As Christians, we shouldn't be doing these deeds of the flesh, and satisfying our lusts won't satisfy our souls or give us lasting contentment. If you give in and live out the deeds of the flesh, your soul will still be left empty. You'll feel the emptiness when the excitement of the moment is over, or maybe even sooner than that. Even if you're temporarily satisfied, it won't last, and it's not going to fulfill the real longings of your soul. Rather, knowing God intimately is going to satisfy you. Also, when you desire the wrong things, it exposes your heart's lack of desire for God, which again will be the only thing that will truly satisfy you in a lasting way and allows you to be truly content. So don't focus on your fleshly desire, because when you do, you disregard and willfully ignore God and all that He has so graciously given you. So, what should we do instead?
Well, instead, we should desire God and righteousness in the Lord. Look at what Psalm 37:4-5 says. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He will do it. Now, some people think that this verse is some sort of a trade-off with God, but that is not what is happening here. When we truly desire God, delight in Him, and are content in Him, we will start to desire the things that God desires. We will ultimately want and desire righteousness, and that God would be glorified. Once we have this heart, God will start to give you what you want. He will allow you to bring Him glory in your life. This is one of the most satisfying things we can experience in this life entirely.
What Elisa is saying is super exciting, because instead of being depressed and discontent and indifferent because nothing brings us lasting satisfaction, we can delight in God and remove those I wants in our lives. We can have joy through knowing God more and living a life of righteousness, which His Son's death on the cross and the forgiveness of sins allowed. We can avoid the hindrances to contentment and be truly content. So stay tuned for more videos on contentment. And until next time,
stay captivated.
I wanna hold your hand.
What's that?
The Beatles?
Oh, yes. I do know, yes.
That was a good one.